Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
Well, good morning, one and all. I am Andrew Langer in for Larry O'Connor today. So glad I could join you, and you can join me at 7:37 a.m. here on News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news. Sitting with me is Mercedes Schlapp. Good morning, Mercy. Hello.
Good morning,
Yes,
Andrew.
so we're at some point in time, I'm going to say one more thing, just for those of you who weren't on earlier, listening earlier to celebrate the Caps. But in the meantime, we got some serious stuff to talk about today. In fact, let's open it up. So we talked about this story, this Loudoun County Aquatics director who was fired. She sat down with Nick Minock from WJLA, ABC 7, to talk about being fired. Let's play cut number 24, Michael.
So Christina sat down with the employee to tell them how they could improve their performance. After that, Christina got pulled into her boss's office.
And they said, this is going to be a hard conversation, but we're parting ways with you. And they said, you told another employee that this employee is transgender. And I said, can I get some examples? Can I be told when I said this? What did I say? It doesn't matter. That's why we're letting you go.
It doesn't matter. Due process doesn't matter, Mercy. Again, one more example of how due process only works if you're trying to keep an illegal migrant in America. But joining us right now, Nick Minock. He's a reporter for ABC 7 WJLA. Nick, you broke this story. You sat down with Christina Hart, the fired director. What's going on here? Tell us what happened.
Sure. Well, good morning, Andrew and Mercedes. So this woman's name is Christina Hart. She's been a part of this community for a long time. It's at the Ashburn Sports Pavilion. They have a pretty large aquatic center. This woman's beloved by the community, spoke to a number of parents who were shocked that she was unexpectedly fired. In fact, she was fired when she was in the middle of coaching a swim meet. That's when the email went out to parents that she was being fired.
Wow.
Well, she said the trouble started last year when she had to book tickets for 5 of her employees to go to a swim coach meeting down in Florida. And so if you've ever bought a plane ticket, you know you have to put your full legal name on the plane ticket. It has to match your ID. Well, one of the other coaches dropped the flight itinerary in a group chat amongst the small group of employees, and one of the employees got upset that their full legal name was on the plane ticket
Oh,
when
my
their full
God.
legal name does not match their gender identity.
Oh, she named him. Her, it, whatever. Sorry. Go ahead.
And so this employee went to management, filed an HR complaint, and this was during the time when the employee's performance was declining, according to Christina. She said she went to her boss 29 times about declining performance, everything from concerns about supervision to children to distracting the only lifeguard that sports pavilion has, who was supposed to be watching children in the pool. So
Right.
she had some serious concerns about this employee, and this is how it ended.
It's amazing. I mean, it really is just the double standards at work. Mercy, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
So is Christina Hart, is she thinking of seeking legal advice on basically suing the aquatic center? I mean, what's your sense on what she can do next? I mean, what rights does she have?
Yeah, I know she and her husband are talking to an attorney. They haven't filed any kind of lawsuit, and if they are, they haven't discussed that with me yet. But I know she has a GoFundMe page. I know she's raising money for legal counsel. It's expensive. I know probably half of their family's income is now lost because of this. So I know that's what they're looking at right now. I do know there's a town hall. It's expected to be on May 20th. And we have the details on our website, WJLA.com, for folks who want to attend. I believe a representative of the HR company that fired Christina will be there, so members of the community can weigh in. And I know a lot of people are calling for them to reinstate her to her old job because she built that program from the ground up.
Right.
She says.
Right. It's amazing. Here's the thing. Mercy, I had this didn't happen with a transgender person. I was arranging a trip for conservative activists to go over to visit refugee camps in Algeria and found out that an activist that I'd worked with, she happened to be doing most of her Tea Party work under a different name because she had been in a different industry before. And, but obviously there was no blowback when I used the wrong name here. But this is astounding to me. And it's, again, the conceit, the arrogance of the left here. you dead name someone, which is this weird term that they use, and you can get this. It's not swift, but you can get this full retribution on here. I mean, this is a shame. I mean, Nick, talk about Christina Hart's sincerity, her love for the community. I mean, obviously, we talk about the income, but the community relationships are what's important here, aren't they?
Right. So we spoke to a number of families, including a woman named Jacqueline Porter. She has 2 young kids. Her kids have been going to the sports pavilion for years. And her little girl, you can see in the interview, is quite shy. I was trying to interview the little girl. She didn't want to talk. But as soon as the interview was done, she ran up to Christina, gave her this huge hug, which shows how this little shy girl just had built this connection with this other person who was not a member of their family. So that is one example of how kids really connect with this woman, how parents trust her with their kids. I mean, when you have kids, right, you're talking about a big pool, you need an adult who you trust fully to watch the kids in the pool. Something could go wrong. So it was really interesting to see that. You can see it in the pictures and the video of how these kids trust her. And so many people are sad and she's gone.
So we've seen this transgender employee did not speak with you or give any comment, but the general manager, Gail Torrio, in an email saying, we remain committed to ensuring the strength and continuity of our aquatics program and to support the community we serve. Obviously not addressing the issue at all. Did you hear from anyone else that could have given you any insight as to, how this happened, why it happened?
Sure. So, yes, I did reach out directly to the employee who allegedly complained about Christina, reach out to Gail, who's the general manager, and I believe she works for the HR company that fired Christina. And so they declined to speak to us. They wouldn't even give us a call to go on background, kind of give us any more insight if there was more to the story here. They just sent us that statement you read. But I think more is going to come out, right? Because I think the community, now that they know Christina's story, they're going to be digging for answers, and I think more is going to come out on this.
Well, there you go. And the full story, the interview is on the WJLA website, www.wjla.com. Nick, thank you for bringing this to our attention, and we look forward to hearing more. The hearing is on, you said May 21st?
20th.
May 20th. Thank you for that. Well, listen, thank you so very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Take care.